do another $1 billion belly bulge audit. And this time it's going to be Reid Hoffman, who sold his company for $26 billion, I believe. So let's watch, and then I'll teach as we go.
Thank you for having us out to do the interview.
My
man.
pleasure.
I really appreciate
Awesome.
that. Who am I here with today?
Reid Hoffman.
And what was your business?
I'm the co-founder of LinkedIn.
You co-founded LinkedIn?
Yes.
In what year?
2003, but AI startups now.
So you're getting into AI right now?
Yeah, well, I've been in AI since I led the first round in OpenAI. So I've been in AI a bit.
So let's go back to those early days when you're building LinkedIn. What was that initial moment that you knew that this was the thing that you were going to go all in on? What was that first moment building LinkedIn when you knew that, okay, I'm burning the boats, we're going all in on this thing right here?
Well, actually, because I'd learned from SocialNet, PayPal, etc., you burn the boats early. You don't like get confidence and then burn the boat. You go.
Why do you say that?
The kind of key element of risk is take a risk that other people won't take that might fail, but if you win huge.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is there is a risk here that he's taking with the executive expansion he has going around the middle, and also the executive expansion he has going around his neck. Guys, if your neck is 17 inches around, it is a neck that is causing you sleep apnea. So more than likely when Reid goes to bed at night, he is not breathing all the way through the night. He's actually choking every now and then, and that's going to disrupt his sleep, which is going to shorten his life. And we don't want Reid's life to be shortened. So we'll go over tips today on how he can help himself.
Everyone's a little afraid of failure, but I knew that I could survive failure, that I could play again. That's the key thing, is make sure that you can play again.
So how did you find yourself believed to go make billions of dollars?
I think it was that I had a good sense of, I knew what strategic game I was playing, and I knew I could play multiple times, and I knew that doing software things within Silicon Valley was a very good place to be doing it. If I was in New York, I might have been doing something else, finance, etc. If I was in LA, I might have been doing media, but no, this is the place where you can do software.
You started LinkedIn in 2003.
Yes.
Was that during a time where a lot of people were doubting the fact that those social networks would actually be prevalent years from then?
Well, everybody in Silicon Valley thought the consumer internet was done. It was only like Amazon and Google and PayPal and so forth. And then actually, in fact, they thought it was enterprise software and clean tech. So it's like, oh no, the internet's over. And by the way, what are you doing this business thing? Is that like Friendster, but for business? What is?
Okay, so people thought that the internet stuff was over. But here's what people think, or what men think sometimes when they have a body that looks like his. They think that this dad bod, quote unquote, that he has is what he's doomed to have because of his age. But I'm here to tell you guys, you don't have to accept a dad bod because of your age. The reason you have a dad bod is because you haven't tapped into the God-given gears that Mother Nature gave you to burn off that belly fat. And I'll talk about how to do that in just a moment.
So you had a lot of people that were telling you no, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, no, more than 2/3 of my smart friends thought I was going to be a complete failure with LinkedIn.
Actually?
Yes.
Why did you not listen to them?
Well, you do. You want to go to people and you want to say, what's wrong with my idea? Why will it fail? So they give you permission to do that. And then what do I know that they don't know? Because if you have a good theory of that, that's the chance that you might have something that's really amazing.
So what was it?
Okay, so what do people know that, or what do I know that other people don't know when it comes to burning off belly fat? Somebody might look at Reid Hoffman and think that he doesn't have any willpower because of the fact that he's overweight. But the reality is this man has a lot of willpower. For selling a company for $26 billion, he has a lot of willpower. But here's what other people don't know about weight loss. Weight loss does not require willpower, because of the fact that the God-given gears in your body can help you release that fat easily. All you have to do is think about what you're doing and when you're doing it. And we'll go over that in a minute.
Knew that they didn't know.
The most common feedback was a network property. First person in, no value. We know each other now, no value. We already know each other. So no value, no value, no value. How does the thing ever grow? And I knew I could get it to grow even when people didn't actually, in fact, have any value in the system at the beginning.
Did you come from a family of entrepreneurs?
No, actually, I came from a family of civil servants. So like my grandfather was like, wait, why is he becoming an industrialist? This is terrible.
So what was your turning point to entrepreneurship then? Like, who was the most influential, most inspirational person on you that enabled you to build one of the most influential tech companies in the entire world?
So what I decided, I went to Stanford University, majored in AI. And what I decided was I wanted to create new products. And that led me into entrepreneurship. I initially went and worked at Apple Computer and Fujitsu and other things. And I was like, no, I want to create a new product. And that's the thing.
Okay, here's the problem. Everybody out there wants to create a new product when it comes to weight loss. We talk about the smartwatches, the Oura rings, the continuous glucose monitors. All of that, guys, is noise. And I don't want you guys to listen to that noise. I know that's probably going to shock you and think, wow, why would she not want us to listen to that data? That's the wrong data to focus on. And again, it's just noise. What I'd like Reid Hoffman to do is when he sits down to eat dinner tonight, that he would make a decision if he's going to drink anything that is sweet tasting, to not drink it until he's eaten at least 1/3 of the solid food on his plate. That's it. That's the one tip I would give him to do. And for him to do that for the rest of his life, it would change the trajectory of how much fat he packs on at each meal. Because here's what's going to happen, guys. If you are a person who eats clean, and if you drink a juice or maybe a non-nutritive sweetener or a Diet Coke, just that sweet taste on your tongue is going to cause your body to release a hormone called insulin. That's your fat storage hormone. Once that insulin is released for the next 2 to 4 hours, everything that comes into your body after that will be stored as fat. So this is what I'm going to tell Reid to do. Don't drink or eat anything sweet until you've had solid food in your stomach for the first 1/3 of your meal.
I think it led me on entrepreneurship.
Throughout your career, what was the most amount of money that you made in a single year?
One of the things that's amazing about having co-founded LinkedIn is last year it did $16 billion in revenue.
LinkedIn did $16 billion last
Yes,
year.
yes.
Say $16 billion in revenue. Reid Hoffman has enough money to hire a professional chef to cook for him. He has enough money to hire a professional trainer to work with him. He has enough money to hire a dietitian, a nutrition, and a medical doctor. So with all that money, why does he look like that? Because if he's hired all those professionals, they are more than likely going off all the misinformation that is out there in the medical industry, in the fitness industry, in the diet industry. And that's what I'm here to disprove to you guys in these $1 billion belly audits. The misinformation that you can drink a Diet Coke or a non-nutritive sweetener drink, and just because it doesn't have sugar in it, that's going to help you not gain weight. Nope, I'm here to tell you and disprove that myth that if it tastes sweet, you're done. That sweet taste is going to cause you to hang on to fat. So just put it at the end of your meal, like dessert, or at the middle of your meal, or like I said earlier, at the very minimum, 1/3 of the way through the meal. And that will change the trajectory of how much fat you pack on.
How much did you sell LinkedIn for?
We sold LinkedIn for $26 billion
To who?
to Microsoft.
What was that conversation like? How did you exit LinkedIn for over $20 billion to Microsoft? That's incredible.
Well, so what happened is Satya Nadella, Bill Gates came down to the office and said, we're interested. I was like, well, okay, let's talk about it. They think it's one of the best acquisitions they've ever done.
Was it worth it for them?
It was worth it for them and it was worth it for me.
What's your secret to networking with other billionaires like Bill Gates? Like, let's say somebody doesn't have.
Speaking of Bill Gates, now that reminds me, Bill Gates has an even bigger belly than Reid Hoffman. I'm going to have to look into his story, and we'll do him in a future video. So subscribe to the channel so you don't miss that one.
Ton of credibility. Before you had all the credibility that you had, how did you build those relationships with those A players that were able to take you places that money can't take you? Guys, this interview with Reid has been amazing so far. We're about to get right back to it, but I've got a very special announcement to make.
That helps me as Microsoft engage with Silicon Valley. And similar, when talking to Bill, I don't say, hey, Bill, you're just so great. He is great. But it's like, oh, here's something that's going on in the modern world of tech. Like, here's something about AI that I see that you may not have seen yet.
So has Bill Gates become a friend of yours?
Yeah, Bill's great.
What do you notice about these people? Among the most successful people that you've gotten to know really well, what do they all have in common that's enabled them to be part of that 0.00001% of the top 1%?
Well, there's 3 different things I'm going to say. I'm going to give you 3. So one is curiosity. So like intensely wanting to learn. That's like Satya, Bill. Another one is just raw grit and kind of like, I am going to make this work.
I'm going to stop on number 2, raw grit. I'm going to make this work. A lot of people apply that to losing weight, and you don't have to. Mother Nature was not so cruel to us humans that we would have to have raw grit to try to make weight loss happen. If you're trying to do that, you're doing it the wrong way. Reach out to me. I can tell you how to make it easier.
This is a whole stack of different people, but like, for example, Patrick Collison or others. Then the last one is kind of understanding, what do I understand about the world that other people don't understand? And that's a little bit like, for example, frequently Peter Thiel is the contrarian hypothesis.
You think a lot of networking
I'm a
is bullshit?
contrarian
The networking is bullshit.
hypothesis when it comes to weight loss. Weight loss is the wrong key performance indicator, guys. You want to look at fat loss. And I just gave you the tip earlier on how not to pack on more fat. Rewind, go back to the tip about how not to pack on more fat. That's going to start helping you not add more problems to the existing problem you already have. And here's the other one about the contrarian mindset that I have. Somebody might look at Reid Hoffman and think he doesn't have any willpower, and that's why he has the excess weight on him. No, the man has plenty of willpower to have built multiple companies and sold for billions, because he was part of the group, I think they call it the PayPal Mafia. Maybe he'll talk about it here. But anyways, along with Elon Musk, and they sold PayPal for, I think, $1.5 billion, if I'm not mistaken. So him selling LinkedIn for $26 billion is not his first go around with making billions of dollars.
That's kind of like, hi, I'm Reid, here's my business card. The thing that's real is forming connections where actually, in fact, we are really helping each other.
What's the biggest mistake you see people make when they are trying to network with other successful people?
They ask for something versus offer something. So it's like, hey, what can you do for me? That happens all the time for people. It's like, no, here's something that could be useful to you. And by the way, maybe you're wrong, maybe it's not useful, fine. But when it is, you get attention, you get the beginnings of a relationship.
You were talking about 2/3 of the people that have told you no in your network.
Yes.
You were part of the PayPal Mafia.
Yes.
Can you explain what that is to people that don't know?
I always say PayPal Network, but PayPal Mafia is sexier, so people really go with it. And it's basically the crew of people who turn PayPal from an encryption system on mobile devices to a worldwide payments network.
Okay, that PayPal Mafia included Elon Musk. If you guys want to see my video on how I would help Elon Musk with his decrease in testosterone and his increase in the belly bulge, take a look in the description, and then I'll possibly see if I can link it at the end of this video. It's just 5 minutes long, and you'll get another tip there.
Were a huge role in PayPal getting acquired for $1.5 billion from eBay. What's your best negotiation advice for any entrepreneur in business right now? You've been at the table with some very heavy hitters. Give me your best negotiation advice for anybody in business.
So the way to think about it is companies are bought, not sold. So if you're selling, you have a problem. You want them to come in and buy you. So the question is, how do you get that to be their idea that they are coming to buy you?
I hadn't heard that perspective before, that they're bought, not sold.
Yes.
How did you get in that mindset shift?
Well, it's because part of the thing is, it's like the dynamic. If you show up just like you show up to a venture capitalist and you say, hey, I'm trying to sell you on this thing, then the person kind of rolls back and like, okay, now this is me being powerful. You're trying to sell your company to me. Whereas like, oh, well, I could be selling to somebody else and I've got this thing that I'm doing. And it's like, no, I want that. You have to think of it.
Okay, so let's relate that to weight loss. People think that you have to buy gimmicks and gadgets in order to lose weight. You don't have to. You've already got the equipment built inside of you to do that. So stop buying the gimmicks and the gadgets and the pills and the potions.
The psychology of the person.
So I want you to think back to you throughout your career real quick. What is the best advice you ever got from a mentor?
So weirdly, it's from my dad, and it was when I was in high school. He said the difficult thing about making decisions is that you reduce opportunity in the short term, because when you make a decision, you've chosen door A and not door B, but it's the only way you get opportunity in the long term.
And what's the most difficult decision you made that paid off?
Oh, wow. Probably starting my first company, SocialNet. And by the way, SocialNet didn't pay off, but it got me into the journey of doing it.
How did you deal with that adversity? Because a lot of people, they see social media nowadays that it's all glitz and glamours and entrepreneurship, but you had some adversity, you had some failures at the beginning. How did you overcome that? How did you learn how to pivot?
Well, what you want to be doing is saying, I'm not just playing a one-time game, I'm playing a multi-time game. And I'm expecting that I'm going to fail along the way, some, because it's not that you want to fail. It's not that you celebrate failing, but you celebrate learning in order to win. I'm going to
have you dig deep on this one right here. I'm going to ask one more piece of advice that you got from a mentor. Give me one from the dad. Give me one from somebody in that network that you had that really changed your life from a business standpoint.
Well, when someone actually tells you something that you really need to hear that wasn't something you were originally planning. So I was networking my way to VCs early, and one of the lawyers that I actually talked to said, hey, look, you're a friend of Lori's. Let me just tell you, you're not going to be able to raise money right now. You need to go prove your credentials at launching products first. Go do that first, then go try to raise money. And that's what I...
Well, hopefully Reid Hoffman will listen to me and say, Reid, look, you don't have to bust your butt in order to get rid of the belly bulge. You can reach out. I can do a house call. We can make it happen really fast, efficiently, and also where it is sustainable. And that's the key. When it comes to helping somebody in their own lifestyle fix their own problems exactly for what they need, because it's not one size fits all, guys. Everybody lives a different lifestyle, a different schedule. different likes and dislikes when it comes to food. And this is what makes the program so successful when I make a house call, is because it's so individualized.
I actually went and ended up working at Apple Computer World and then built a network around me, and that helped me.
Did you take out a lot of capital to scale?
Well, in today's term, de minimis, but it was $5 million in the first round.
Nothing after that? Or?
Oh, no. Ultimately, we raised about $140 million.
What was your secret to raising capital? It's one of the hardest things for business owners to do because investors, they invest in people and they invest in businesses, not ideas, right?
So the best thing is think about what kinds of things investors are looking for, something that's going to be amazingly big, and they're looking for things that they think is the current trend for what's going. So like AI, things are good to pitch, although if you say, hey, it's an AI milkshake, that won't work so well. So you're looking for that, and then you're looking for...
In the world of weight loss, guys, there's a lot of trends. What I want you to do is to ignore those trends, because those are all what I call shiny object syndrome, getting you to look over here so you don't look over here for the real solution, because they want to keep you in this cycle of having that gym membership or having that supplement subscription coming to your home every month, or having that need for that injection every week. Those are all shiny object syndrome. You have the ability within your body to turn things around. And I'm going to try to give you guys all foundational advice as I go through these $1 billion belly bulge audits through these videos. So subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
Or why is it you're going to take a bet on me? So like a VC looks at 600 to 800 deals a year and says yes to 0 to 2 of them. So why would they take a bet on you? And being edgy that way is really helpful.
So what's the number one thing that you look for in a business or a person when you're deciding to make an investment? As somebody who's been one of the most successful VCs in the game.
It's being surprised about something that could be amazing. So like, for example, when I met with the Airbnb co-founders, I told them in 2 minutes I was going to make them an offer to invest, because they had gone, we've seen something no one else has seen, which is eBay, but for space. And here we go.
What's your most contrarian opinion about the future of industries that venture capital will be investing in that maybe a lot of people will disagree with you on?
Probably that the world of bits will be greatly accelerating the world of atoms. So part of the reason why I just co-founded a company curing cancer with AI is because AI will accelerate how we discover new drugs. That acceleration will also be like, for example, robots. That acceleration will be manufacturing. Like, we will figure out how to build much better, cheaper, faster houses because of AI.
What's the most common mistake?
Hey, speaking of AI, he has access to all the AI in the world. Don't you think if AI could solve the weight problem, it would have already for him or for millions of other people? But what do we have in the United States? An increased rise in more and more obesity, and also an increased rise in more and more metabolic disease. And those are two things that you guys have access to take care of from within your own body. The gears are already built inside of you, no matter how old you are or how broken you think you are.
You see business owners make in today's world. You became one of the most successful VCs in modern time. You've been on the board of a lot of successful companies. What's a blind spot that a lot of maybe even successful founders have that you see across a lot of companies in today's world?
It depends a little bit on which game you're playing. But within the tech startups, it's not taking the bold enough risk. You're trying to make sure that you're successful versus, hey, I'm going to try this. And either it's going to be spectacular or I'm going to die. And that's okay or I'm going to die.
You wrote a book called Blitz Scaling. What is the most effective way to scale fast?
The important thing to do when you're scaling, blitz scaling, going really fast, getting your company large, attacking a market, is to say, how do I make decisions in a way that I do not take my foot off the accelerator? It's like when you're driving, you say, am I going to get off this thing or not? The time that I can make the decision is by going full speed ahead. So you say, hey, should I go into this market? Should I launch this product? Should I hire this person? Well, what's the way that I do that? Not ever slowing down.
Now,
Okay, I haven't read his book, Blitz Scaling, but I can tell you I'm writing my own book about how doctors are missing the leaks that are happening on the most important asset any of us owns, and that's our human body. Hence the reason I'm writing the book. But let's go back to his Blitz Scaling, meaning scaling a company really fast. Here's what I want to give you guys. If you guys are not dropping 2 pant sizes in less than 1 year, there's something wrong. Because the reality is I can help a guy drop 2 pant sizes in 6 months and sometimes even as quick as 4 months. Yes, that's the reality of how quickly that should happen when you're doing things the right way. And that's without diet, without exercise. Well, I can't say that legally. I have to say without fad diets, without busting your butt at the gym, and without gimmicks, gadgets, supplements, pills, or potions, or injections.
Of entrepreneurs, the reason why they struggle to scale is because they want to be that solopreneur.
Yeah.
They want to wear all the hats themselves. Who is the most important to hire in any business?
So one of the things that's most important to hire or partner with are the people who add their strengths against your weaknesses. So for example, I'm a creative problem solver. That's really good. I need people who run like all the trains on time, who are very operationally tight and buttoned down. And so you're looking for the person who is a right partner for you.
How important is vertical integration to whatever business somebody's involved in?
Well, it's important to know what game you're playing. And if the game is vertical integration, then do it well. One of the things I got wrong is I thought we would have individual subscriptions as the primary business initially, and it was enterprise. And you pivoted. And the way we learned it is we said, look, when we launched individual subscriptions, we had companies coming to us saying, we'd like to buy. And we're like, the companies are coming to us. Customers are coming to us. All right, make a slide deck, complete image, and send it out saying, this is the product we're building. And the sales guy came back with purchase orders. And we're like, okay, we're building that product.
How old are you now?
I'm 57.
How old were you when you...
Oh my gosh, he's only 57 years of age. Okay, guys. At 57 years of age, he is at a point in his life where it's going to be easier for him to help himself, but also he's very young to be looking like that. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Like I said before, the average age of my client is 72, and that's because they get to a point where they know nothing has worked for them and they're missing some organs, and now they raise their hand up and say, okay, I need some help. What's good about Reid Hoffman being only 57, hopefully that means he's got all of his organs still. So Reid, if you're listening to me, now's the time to reach out. But again, if you're missing some organs, we can still help. Definitely.
Became a billionaire?
Probably 38, but I'd have to really go look at it.
So if you had to start from zero and you had 1 year to make $1 billion and your life depended on it, what would you do?
Do something that's very different than what other people would be doing. Now, there's a lot of AI stuff right now, but what would be something that would be, I started a cancer drug discovery company, but that's not a year. That's like 5-10 years.
So do you think in decades then?
Oh, yeah.
Long-term?
Yes. I almost never play a 1-year game. I play a 10-year game.
Why is that?
Because part of, again, where it's contrarian is most other people don't think about 10 years. They don't think about how you compound to 10 years. And compounding to 10 years is one of the things that gives a differential edge.
But even if you've already had an exit for...
Okay, there's the 10-year thing we need to talk about. When you're in your 40s, that's when things start to change on a man's body. By the time you're in your 50s, you start getting that real estate expansion around the midsection. Then by the time you're in your 60s, your plumbing starts to fail. By the time you're in your 70s, now the organs start to fail. So this is why the succession of time is what makes men actually get to a point where they say, okay, I need help now because things have gotten more serious. And the beautiful thing about the human body, it's always willing to help you to reverse these problems when you step in and do the right thing. So try the tip I gave you guys. Don't take anything sweet on your tongue before eating at least 1/3 of your meal. That's your tip for today. Do that every single time you eat, and you will be much better off. You watch within a week or two.
Over $20 billion, you still are thinking that long term.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is that? Like just because?
Well, because that's actually how you create something that's epic, that changes industries.
And looking back to that exit, what was the number one thing that led to an exit over $20 billion?
It was a realization that building a network and getting growth in the network and then monetization could come later. So like frequently when people think of business, they think, well, I got to have someone pay me right now. It's like, no. Actually, like build the network and then the business will be built on top of it.
So
Okay, I'm going to step in here and call it a day. What I want you to know about the human body, it doesn't take months for you to see change. You should see some positive change with making some little 1/4-inch turns. And I'll be giving you those throughout these videos. So I look forward to you subscribing so that you won't miss the next video that comes out. And like I said, I'll be putting the Elon Musk video down in the description or possibly at the end of this video. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.